Hello and welcome to Blue Army TV. I'm sitting here after Carlisle have just announced the signing of new manager, or head coach I should say, Mark Hughes. A former Premier League manager, a manager with experience at this level, a manager with experience of getting out of relegation battles like this. Not quite at this level, but I think a lot of Carlisle fans will be upset with his comments on Carlisle in the past, which is kind of understandable. But for me, do I think it was our first choice? No. I think Brady was probably our first choice. He was linked, and there was obviously them rumours about Steven Gerrard coming from a lot of news sources. But do I think it's a bad appointment? No. Do I like the appointment? Not particularly, because I don't really like Mark Hughes, but it's an appointment that I think ultimately will work. But in this video, I'm just going to go through his managerial career and how he has played in the past, and how I think he will play at Carlisle, and how I think it's going to work. So we'll just go through his career first of all. In 1999 to 2004, he was Wales manager, never qualifying for a major tournament. Coming close once, I believe. Blackburn in 2004 to 2008. So if you stay in a job for 4 years in football, you're doing a good job. So he stayed in the Wales job for 5 years. He's at Blackburn for 4. Then you start to get to his more short-term appointments. He went to Man City for a year between 2008 and 2009. Then Fulham for a year, 2010 to 2011. QPR just in 2012. And then we get to his 3 latest appointments, which are the ones we're going to go through today. That's Stoke in 2013 all the way to 2018. He had 4 seasons there, or 3 and a bit. Southampton, he had the end of the 2017-18 season before getting sacked in the 2018-2019 season in December, I believe. And then he was with Bradford City from 2022 to 2023 after taking a very short 4-year break from management before coming back to Bradford. And, he got sacked from there when we were in League One. And now, his next appointment, he's taken over bottom of the league, Carlisle United. He's a manager who's managed at the very top, and now he's managing literally at the very bottom. But I think in chronological order, it would help to start with his Stoke City team. He joined in the 2017-18 season. The formation he liked to use there. He played a few, but the one I'm going to focus on, because it's the most different from the other two I'm going to talk about, is his 3-4-3 formation, which he said was inspired by his time at the Welsh team. He was quoted as saying, and this is a quote that I I thought was very relevant to our own team. He said that he inherited a group of players that were better than they were led to believe. Whether he meant by Tony Pulis or by the media. I think in a very similar sense, he's got a lot of players now that are better than what they're being led to believe by us, the fans, and by the media, because they are better than what they're not better than what we're making them out to be. They're better than they're performing at the minute, which hopefully, and he managed to get Stoke to 3 consecutive 9th place finishes, 3 top half Premier League finishes, which for Stoke, if you ask any Stoke fan if they would take that now, they'd take it in a heartbeat, being stuck in a relegation battle in the Championship now. In his 4th season, he was sacked in January after Stoke had a very disappointing start to the season. I think they were in 13th. When he then went to Southampton, who were in a very similar position to we are now. They were in 18th in the Premier League, so they were in a relegation place, and they finished the season 17th. He took them up 1 position. But no, in all seriousness, he did a very good job there. He kept them up in that league, and in that league, he managed to play a 4-4-2. He went back to basics. There were at times where he tried to play his now favoured 4-2-3-1, but at Southampton, he played his very, very basic, back to basics 4-4-2 formation. He then took 4 years out of management after being sacked by Southampton and went to Bradford, where he's being described as playing and he described the exact same thing in his interview with Carlisle in the weekend, being announced today. He describes his way of playing as a balance between direct and possession-based football. At Bradford, he had the highest win percentage of any club he's been at with 40%. He got Bradford to the playoffs in 2023, but was beaten by Carlisle. What a shame. He liked to play at Bradford a 4-2-3-1 formation, which, sometimes he would change it up and go to a 4-3-1-2 or a 4-3-3, but the majority of the time he played with his favoured 4-2-3-1. He was obviously sacked by Bradford in October of the season we went up. And that leads us to now, his time at Carlisle. What will he bring to Carlisle? How will he line up at Carlisle? We don't know. In my opinion, the first big decision he has to make is with the goalkeeper. Now, any other manager, I don't think this would be a problem. But the goalkeeper that gave him a lot of his success at Bradford is currently our disgraced second choice keeper in Harry Lewis. Now, there's a lot of discourse in the Carlisle fan base at the minute about who he'll go for, and I don't know. I think there are two things he could do. There are two formations he could go with, and I genuinely think whichever one he goes with depends on which keeper he'll pick. And I'll start that off first. The last time he was in this position, when he went into a team in a relegation battle, was Southampton, and he kept them up successfully by playing a 4-4-2 formation. If he goes and does the exact same thing here with Carlisle, this is how it could look. I think you're probably gonna get, Hugel and Scott as the starting two strikers, although there is room for change with that. There are a few strikers we've got to rotate with, especially if we manage to get Armstrong back from his loan spell. The Jordan Jones will probably be a bit of a shoe-in at the left wing spot, or the left midfielder spot, with Whelan being in the middle. The other midfield role of that midfield two and the right midfielder role, they're both very much up for grabs, in my opinion. The back line will obviously be Williams at right back and probably Harper at left back now that Williamson's gone. Harper has always been a left back in his career, and he was under Simpson. The only person that's decided he wasn't is Williamson. So, in my opinion, I think we're probably going to get Harper at left back again, and with him being our only real left back, you'd imagine the fullbacks kind of pick themselves with hopefully MacArthur and Lavelle as the centre-backs. However, there is room for rotation with that. Terrell Thomas could come in for Lavelle, but or even MacArthur. You could play Thomas and Lavelle if you want. Maybe the new manager takes a liking to Hayden. I don't know. Maybe he takes a liking to his old rival Barkley. You just don't know. But I think the 4-4-2 formation, I don't know why, but I think if he goes with a 4-4-2 and he kind of leans more towards that direct style of play instead of his more possession-based style of play, I think the 4-4-2 is the more direct of the two formations, and I think Gabriel Breeze is the more direct of the two keepers. So if we play with a 4-4-2, that goalkeeping position goes to Gabriel Breeze. Now, the second option that I think he could go with, and the second option that I think is maybe a little bit more likely, is he goes to a 4-2-3-1. Now, Hugel, I think, has probably been our most effective striker. He scored one goal, which says a lot about our season, and that was in the 5-1 defeat against Swindon. But, obviously you probably see Jones as the left winger. Embleton would probably be a good attacking midfielder. He's the kind of more out-and-out number 10 player we've got. There are a few options on the right. It could be any one of them. I think there's a good chance that could just be rotated massively. With Whelan and Patching being the two DMs, because they've done that role, they've been the most effective, and obviously you keep the same back line as with the 4-4-2 with Williams, Harper, Lavelle and MacArthur. But with this formation, I think it's very likely that you'll see Harry Lewis, because I think a lot more with a 4-2-3-1 as opposed to a 4-4-2, you'll see a 4-2-3-1 be used better in possession. So if he decides to lean more on the possession and less on the direct play, then the 4-2-3-1 might be the better option if you're going to play Harry Lewis, which he might. And there's an argument to say that Harry Lewis might not even be, his man. A big part of the reason he got sacked from Bradford was because Harry Lewis was inconsistent in the season he got sacked. And, a good part of the reason he didn't go up with Bradford is because Harry Lewis let in some fairly easy goals against Carlisle. But yeah, do I think he'll keep us up either way? I think he probably will. Just because I think Morecambe are so bad and are pending a points deduction, and because Tranmere have just put out a statement saying they're sticking with their manager, that club's in an absolute mess. I think we're better than both of them clubs, and I think with a new manager, any kind of bounce probably keeps us up. But yeah, let me know what you think, and let me know what you think of this new video, because I've definitely tried something different here. Got a new computer, decided to put it to some use, but but yeah. Thank you for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and in a bit.